Hello there, everyone. Well, Elena, today's selection is NESSUN DORMA, and we are going to explore the differences between singing and speaking and many other details. So let's start by speaking through the text.
Hello, singers. I'm starting. Nessun dorma. Nessun dorma. Tu pure, o principessa. Nella tua fredda stanza guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore e di speranza. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me. Il nome mio nessun saprà. No, no. Sulla tua bocca lo dirò quando la luce splenderà. Ed il mio bacio scioglierà il silenzio che ti fa mia. Il nome suo nessun saprà e noi dovremmo, ahimè, morir, morir. Di legua o notte, tramontate stelle, all'alba vincerò, vincerò, vincerò.
All right. So we have a lot to unpack in this aria. There are a lot of great little unwritten phenomenon. But the very first thing, Puccini puts the accent of the first word in a different way than it is spoken. So if you speak it, it's like this.
Nessun dorma.
But he's written Nessun dorma, right? So how do we negotiate that?
So here it's just a matter of the melody and of its rhythm. We can decide if we want to have some help from this diction exercise to divide into syllables. Nessun dorma. But here we have to know that the long note is on the E. Nessun dorma. So that's what we have to do. Ne, it's long, and the double S becomes very fast. Nessun dorma.
That makes sense. So we're, one of the big things is that the time people have to understand is that the time of speaking and the time of singing are much different, right? But one of the things I'd like to address is that there is a big tradition of composers doing this. So for instance, Puccini in Tosca, right? So it's alla tua villa andiamo, right? There's a line, but he sets it alla tua villa andiamo.
Okay.
Soletta. It's a lot of times it's when there's a certain expression being done. There's a certain coyness. Here's another example. In the duet between Violetta and Alfredo, he says, quando non sa mi ancora, right?
Okay,
Quando
I understand now the point. But in this case, if you tell me that they say quando instead of quando, which means like make it to put a stress on the last vowel, then it is very audible even for us. We hear it as native speakers. But in this case, he didn't really change the accent of the spoken language, in my opinion, because it's just that the E is a little longer, but it's not saying nessun, nessun.
Okay.
He's saying nessun.
Let me play devil's advocate. He could have said it nessun dorma, right? It's not as charming, right?
Okay.
Right, but he could have completely yielded, right? Or the poet could have said nessuno dorma, right?
We have to know that it's just a matter of accent, of rhythm, and of melody, and they do. In this case, I feel it as if the stress still were on the U. It's like when you said.
Okay. So that's the most important thing, though. That's the most important thing, because someone who doesn't speak Italian doing this, you can actually tell that they're not feeling that. That's just my point. You understand, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you have to have you have this, because you speak Italian, you have this grounded accent in the right place of the word. So when it's set off, there's a foil. That's why it's so expressive when it's sung. Does that make sense?
Yes. Sure.
So without that foundation, you have to have the foundation first. Then you take the music as it's written. Okay, so I think maybe we should go on.
Yes, sure.
So you took a lot of, I've written out the things with the doublings, and as we've established in other conversations, they look too big. But you took a lot of the doublings that I've written, and mainly you did it by just stopping. So you stop phonation, right? So if you read the next line, the
Okay, shall I stop or not?
No, do however it comes naturally, very innocent, the way you would just read it innocently.
Tu pure, o principessa.
Right, so we have both the P's. Both of the P's are doubled very, very, very subtly. But what's nice for the people listening in is that they can compare how you just spoke it to how it is set in the music. And those doublings are there, but if you overdo them, they're not good. They become too strong, too vulgar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like having a strong accent. A strong accent from somewhere. It's too strong. Tu pure, o principessa.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes vulgar. It was a good thing when it started, and then it becomes exaggerated, and then it becomes vulgar. Exactly. And that's the thing, that's the danger when it's written like this. So that's what I want people to know, is that when I do write these things out, it's just a very subtle thing. But without it, what happens? If you don't have it at all, again, it's like you've overcooked the pasta, and the noodles are all very, very mushy. The next line, the fredda stanza one.
Nella tua fredda stanza.
So one of the things that someone needs to understand from this is that this is very rhythmic, right? If you say it again.
Nella tua fredda stanza.
So you have the double L, you have the double D, you have the N going into the TZ of stanza. All of these things have to be hit. And also you have the word tua, right? That has to be put over one note. Right? And as you say it, it's exactly it's actually in the time that he wrote. He wrote it exactly the way you said it. This is one of those things where sometimes it's written not as conversational, but he wrote this exactly the way you just said it. And if you say it again.
Nella tua fredda stanza.
And here's another thing. You have two accented E's that are closed, that are the small version, right?
Nella tua fredda.
Right. Okay, so let's go on. The next line.
Guardi le stelle.
Right. So you doubled the S in speaking.
Yes.
And in singing, that would be a weak monosyllable. So in singing, I would not encourage somebody to double that S. You'd have to elongate the le.
Yes, sure. Guardi le stelle. That would be very fast.
The word for stars in Italian is an accented E that's closed, right? So accented syllables in Italian, you must memorize them. There are some formulas, but you have to know every single word, and you have to know exactly whether it's open or closed. And then this does matter. Yes? Okay, let's go on. The next line.
Okay, the next line, I have a hard time reading it right, because in this very case, the word tremano for me is very hard. I would never say that, but it's not right. I say che tremano, but it's not right. It's my accent.
Yes, right. But that's what's natural.
I would say just to be natural, okay? Because we said before, just to be quick, but just to remember that there are a lot of native singers that keep their accent when they especially dealing with e's. So open e, close e. If they say it certain way when they speak, then they say it even when they sing. Okay, so in this case,
but first of all, let's make a clarification for our listeners, right? So I am an American in Southern California, and Elena is in Milan, right?
yeah.
So Milano. So you're acknowledging that in Milano there are certain things that you do naturally, but it is not necessarily the standard Italian, right?
Exactly.
So you're saying that up north you would say tremano with a.
No, I'm saying that I say tremano because I wasn't born in Milano, so I also have a different accent from people from Milan. Just to be honest, because I don't say so.
Yeah. So you're not speaking for everybody from Milan, right?
Exactly.
But right. So but this what we're going to do is like a standard Italian, right? Is that it's going to be an open E. So let's just read it.
Yeah.
Let's hear what you have.
I will read it. I will read both ways. It wouldn't be so natural the other way, but I will. Che tremano d'amore e di speranza.
Okay.
Or che tremano d'amore e di speranza.
Okay.
So the difference is just an E.
Great. So it's the very first reading through, you did not, like the very first at the beginning of the video, you didn't double the T. As you went on and on and on and you weren't aware of it, you had a slight doubling of the T.
But you know what? When I read, I'm not thinking of the exact spoken language, and I'm not thinking of the melody. But when I read, I think as if I were reading a poem. And so I just put some silence here and there and just stop. So it's not, now that we are repeating, I'm more speaking. That's the difference between what I did before and what I'm doing now. It's just because when I read as if I were reading a poem, it's more clear. The pronunciation is more clear. That's why I do it.
My question for you is, are you doing it more as a poem now or when you first read it?
More.
Is it more of a poem now or when you first read it?
When I first read it, it was more as a poem, and now I'm more as a spoken language.
It's very funny to think about what did Puccini want, because he's writing through like they're writing through. See, by now, of the time of Boito, after Boito, Verdi was writing through composed because they had to fight. Here's the thing, because of censorship, right? When you had the Austrians were ruling Italy,
yes.
Right? The censors would. Verdi was trying to write a prose libretto, right? A free through composed libretto. And the censors would send it back and say, this doesn't rhyme. They wanted the more realism. They wanted the verismo back,
yes.
Right? So they had to fight for the verismo, right? Yet they still have poetry. They still have rhyming. Even in Puccini, there's rhyming. There's poetry. So here's our choice as the artist. What did he actually want? Both readings that you did are equally valid. Isn't that interesting, right?
Yes, it is.
So
yes. We have to consider that doesn't matter if they were trying to change things and to make things less poetic or whatever, verismo, but they were still at the beginning of the century. That was the era, I mean. So they couldn't be so detached from their roots, from the way they grew up and the culture they came from. So they were slowly trying to do that. Probably it's just the middle way of it. I don't know. It's just I'm supposing. I'm not sure about that, but it could be.
Here's the interesting thing too. Verdi in his letters, when he was describing somebody creating one of his works, supposedly he always said. You should have heard how Strepponi said Norma. She declaimed it. instead of sung. And he's always saying, my music should not be sung. I don't want you to sing my music. Very interesting, right?
Yes.
So I like the one where you just read where you read it, and I also like the poetry one too. Both of them are very, very, very nice, right? But see, as you thought more conversational, you did add more of the doublings, the
Yeah,
little
of
doublings.
course, it's more spontaneous. And I think that when somebody's singing, we are talking about being spontaneous and fluent, aren't we? So if we just do both, they can hear the pronunciation, a proper pronunciation clear, but also the fluency of the sentence.
And others. So let's go on to the next
Yeah.
line. The next line has something very, very interesting in it.
Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me.
So you did
But
a little northern on the.
yeah, I did my way. I did it my way.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm just quoting. Okay. But now, ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me.
Right.
This is the right.
So you had an assimilation. So here's the thing. You had an assimilation. When you say INME, what happens?
Yeah. In me.
Right. Right. You are one of the first Italian people I've met who will admit to doing that. Most Italian people will say, "What are you talking about? I say N," right? Yeah. But that's an assimilation, right?
It's true. It's true.
There are several assimilations.
When we have N can be a problem sometimes. For example, the word anche. Anche. It's a nasal. It's a nasal. So in this case, how could you put an A, which is the fastest way to say an N when it's in the middle of different situations, you know? So anche, you do it back nasal and you can do it. But in this case, you have in me. Okay, I can say it if I speak slowly. In me. And so I say in with an nasal, and then I say me. But if I'm speaking fast, and if I'm singing certain melodies, I will have troubles doing that. It's a waste of time, a waste of energy. So I will say in me. I will just cut the N and say me.
Yes.
All languages do that.
And there are some dangers too. So if you release the tongue from the tip of the mouth and you're trying to sing legato, you're going to have a shadow vowel. So you're going to say in me. If you're, like if you do it wrong, that's the thing you're going to, like, especially if it's one of those passages where you're going to have a hard time going from the N to the lips going together, right? So that's the danger. That's the other reason why. Now, there's a way to do it wrong too. Again, people exaggerate it. So people learn this trick and then they go and they show it off. So they go in, and then it's wrong too because it's too much, right? So the thing is that it has to go by fast and not be natural.
John, when you are Italian and you say in me, you are thinking a nasal and me. Even when you say it faster, that's why you really have to listen to yourself to understand what we are talking about, because it's obvious that I'm saying in me, in, like a French nasal, same thing. It's a very fast thing. We say it and we think it. So if you are not Italian, you don't think that N, nasal N, and we can hear it. The audience can hear. But if you are in a fast sentence, you say in me, it becomes 2M.
We have things like this that we do in English. So we say in fact. Yeah. And we have that assimilation. See, it's the inverno one, inverno, where it's here on the bottom lip. So I did a video on the N assimilations, right? That there are four different N's, and basically the N just does what the next consonant is going to do. So the position of the next consonant. So the sangue one, because you're going to go gue, 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 gue with the middle of your tongue, then the N is on the middle of the tongue. Inno, right, is tip of the tongue because you're going to do another N, tip of the tongue, right? Dum padre, because you're going to say padre. The plosives are with the lips together. And then inferno, inverno, same, because you're going to do a fricative. It's before the. Does that make sense? So it's the thing that's coming up that makes the N assimilate.
Yes.
The consonant that's coming up. I know you don't think of it this way because you just do it.
Yes, yes.
But this is how I would teach. This is how I would teach somebody who doesn't speak Italian to do it. Some of them are very difficult to get, and I would also encourage people to just leave them out. If you can't do it naturally, don't do it because it's only going to make things worse.
Yes, it's going to be really. I mean, you're going to waste time, as we said.
Yeah,
it's just a waste of time and energy. Yes.
Yeah.
In this situation, ime is okay. Yeah.
I'm just crazy about this stuff. Like this stuff makes me lose sleep, and then like if somebody does it wrong, then it's clunky. So it does make your singing more. It does. If you do it right and you actually nail it, it makes your singing very, very elegant and beautiful. If you miss it, it's just going to make things worse. So that's why people pay a ticket to hear you sing, because you're going to be doing something that no one else can do.
Yeah.
It's an elite art form. There's no way of getting around it. Okay.
Okay, let's go on. Shall I read it?
Yes.
Okay. Il nome mio nessun saprà.
Okay. So again, it's rhythmic, right?
Yeah.
And because it's nessun, the E is closed, nome, single M. The mistake I hear all the time is il nome. People do that all the time, and it doesn't matter. It seems to be like if you're not Italian, that's what you're going to do. Here's the other thing about this, right? The legato in this line is the hardest thing ever to accomplish. When you hear people sing, right? Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me, il nome mio nessun saprà. That kind of legato, where you have to divide, right? You'll hear ma il misere. You'll hear bounciness because the words are bouncy.
Yeah.
The way you vibrate is so important.
Okay, let's try and do something. I will try and read it again, but this time trying to respect the rhythm of the melody, just the rhythm.
Okay.
Shall we try?
Yes.
Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me.
So what happens is it becomes too sing-song. So you get this. Ma il mio nera. You sound like you're from Sicily.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
The other one. Il nome mio nessun saprà.
But on the other hand, that's a very, very good exercise for people to do that way. It's very good because for people who aren't Italian, they will practice lots of flesh in the face. It's very more physical. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Especially about this S, because in general, we always agree that when we have a double, in general, it's the previous vowel that is longer, or it depends on the note. But in this case, this nessun, this S is quite long. It's much more pronounced than in other situations, like principessa. Or nessun. In this very case, I hear it. Tell me if you agree, because maybe I'm wrong, but I have this feeling that in this case, nessun the double S sounds more in the melody when it is sung. Il nome mio nessun. And it is very, it has to be said. It's very strong.
It's also very difficult because it's high. It's above, it's above the staff, right? And the S is going to blow your vocal cords apart as you do it. So it's very difficult technically. So yeah, if you can do it, do it. But
no, I mean, what I mean is that
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's very difficult. But
yes.
It's going to show who's the top person singing this.
But the thing I mean, il nome mio nessun. We could say nessun, nessun, or nessun a little bit more. It's not that you have to do an S that lasts and makes your voice just like we go like this. It's just a matter of saying it a little longer. You can do it here. It doesn't sound vulgar if we want to use this word.
No, I'm in agreement. It's just that what I'm saying is that the singer has to be very judicious, can do it, but it's going to be the most adept singer who will be able to do it without blowing the vocal cords apart. And I'm not saying it's not impossible, but wow, it just shows you how hard it is to sing.
Yes.
When somebody's really, really good, somebody's really, really good.
Okay. Allora, I go on. No, sulla tua bocca, lo dirò quando la luce.
You did exactly the way Puccini said it, because he put the two no's together, right? The first no closed a little bit, the second one opened, and then there was a double S at the beginning of the word. Right? People have to realize that the word NON is usually closed because it's in the unstressed part of the sentence. Right? Right? But the word NO is slightly open because it's usually on the stressed. But when you have two in a row, you will harmonize it, as you did. You harmonized. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, does. Lo dirò quando la luce splenderà.
Okay, so you doubled the Q.
Yeah.
Because the future tense, right? I will say it, double Q. Very slightly though, and very beautifully done, by the way, very elegant. And then one more thing, there's a danger, right? I hear people say spla, they open that all the time, splenderà, and they have to say it over and over and over again. But that somehow that open is vocal depth if you do it, right? But you did splenderà, which is the right one.
Yes.
Okay, so shall we go on?
Ed il mio bacio scioglierà.
So bacio is a very hard thing to sing without doubling the ch. And you did it, you actually did it more poetic than spoken. Because when you speak, you can cut the more, but you said bacio in the exaggerated singing way. You see?
Yes.
And that's what we want. We want that.
I will speak now. Ed il mio bacio scioglierà.
Yeah. It's beautiful. But also, here's the other thing. There is the vowels are going around and around in your head in Italian more, right? And that's the other thing you want when you sing, right? I'm meaning that you go all the way from ed il mio bacio, going around in your head, okay? Going on, you say this with the north sometimes.
I would say il silenzio che ti fa mia.
Yes.
Or il silenzio che ti fa mia.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you have a choice here. And you did one time and you did one the other time. So you could double after fa, you could double the mia, the M. You did that the second time. The first time, you doubled the T of che ti fa mia. I'm exaggerating, right? Second time, you went fa mia. But both times, you chose one or the other. And actually, that's a good thing to do, is to not do too many. but when I write the text out, I present all the choices. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to do them all. But
No,
it's nice to do one or the other.
I noticed that these doubles are happen when I try to link the words more, when I want to do them together more. So if I want to say il silenzio che ti farà mia, il silenzio che ti fa mia. It becomes natural when you try to put them all together. Yes, because you don't have to have silence between the words.
All right, that's a very good and very interesting point. So I think the opposite would happen for us non-Italians, but for you it's so funny, right? How that works. That you're linking,
yes.
by linking you end up with things that to us are less legato. Right? It's paradoxical. All right, let's go on. Here's the chorus part.
Il nome suo nessun saprà.
Okay.
E noi dovremmo, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go on. E noi dovremmo, ahimè, morir.
So say the word for we. Say it very slow. Say it again.
Noi.
Yes. So in English speakers, and I see even teachers saying this and coaches saying this, for a lot of people, they make it rhyme with the English word boy. See, so they say noi.
Noi.
Right? Absolutely. You did beautifully. Right? So when you say it, I want the listeners to hear how pure the two vowels are and how distinct they are. Say it again for them, please.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because there's a comedian here that says that noi, boy, because he imitates people from my city, my hometown city, and it's very funny. So that's why I laughed. I'm sorry. E noi. This is correct.
Yes. So it's closed though in a semivowel. E.
Yeah. Noi dovremmo.
Yes. Closed E at the end.
Closed E.
So
ahimè.
Yes.
But you could also hear ahimè. Ahimè. Somebody says that too. But this is not a word we use when we speak. We don't say ahimè. No. This is very old.
No, what's funny is that if you look in the DOP, that this is definitely changed from open to closed in modern Italian. It was ahimè lassa, right? In old Italian, right? Yeah. But then it became ahimè closed.
Right? Okay. Yes. And I go on? Shall I go on?
Di legua.
Okay. Di legua o notte, tramontate stelle.
Okay, so the E in the verb is closed, and then you had a very slight double N. Demonstrate to them the double T in notte.
Notte. You have to wait.
We don't technically say two T's, right?
No. It's just I call it suspense sound. Like you stay there and wait for the T to arrive. Of course, when you sing, you have to say the O. Notte. You cannot say not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not do that when you sing. But when you speak, you just do notte, and the tongue is already there on the palate, waiting to pronounce the T. Notte, staying there, waiting. Notte. You keep your tongue put on the palate, keep silent, and wait for a second.
So T's, K's, so certain hard consonants are done by stopping phonation, and then L's, M's, and N's are doing by continuing phonation, right? And here's the thing that's almost never talked about, right? People are all saying semantically that you're doing two T's, right? Yeah, that's true. You have two printed T's, but you're not doing two T's. You're doing one T, right? And if people get confused, you hear them sing two T's. So they'll say notte, te, like that, and with the aspirated T, or they'll cut the no, because people will say too, you shorten the vowel, which is correct, but without nuance. So people will say shorten the vowel before the double T, so then you get not te, you get the strangled one, right? You have to elongate the vowel, go up to the T, don't say it, then say it, as you demonstrate.
Yes, I will do it now, right? And then I will say another thing about this double T and this word. Not te is right. It means night. But if you say no te, it means no. No. It is no. Now, the point is that they have to say it a little stronger than just one T. It's not no te. It is not te when you speak. And when you sing, it would be no te. There is a second of silence. It's a very little moment, but it is there. Otherwise, you are saying no te, which is notes. It's another word. I understand that this is very difficult. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yeah, absolutely. So things change, things that will absolutely change meaning on you without you, and you can actually say something bad too.
In many cases, yes.
The one that gets me all the time is the one that's in old Italian is now, like right now, which is or, right? And then people say oror, or they say, so it sounds like horror in the way they say it instead of right now. By mixing up the R's or mixing up the closed and open, you get a different word. All right, so let's finish this. We're almost to the end.
Okay, tramontate stelle, tramontate stelle.
Okay, so single T's. That's the mistake you hear all the time. Double T where it's single T, and then going on.
So you mean single T in tramontate?
Yeah, people will sing tramontate stelle.
Okay, okay.
You hear that
yes, single T, tramontate.
So you keep the ah, going. You don't let the T stop.
Yes, the stress is on the A, tramontate, tramontate. So it's easier to pronounce the last T and E.
Yes, if you double the then you won't double the T.
Yeah. All'alba vincerò.
Yes, so we have an open O at the end, right? And then all'alba, you did that. I'm exaggerating, but just so they hear that the L's are all phonated.
Yes. All'alba. It's alliteration here. All'alba vincerò. All L. All'alba. And in this case, we have double L and single L. Double L. Alba, it's single. But it sounds quite all double, because of the melody.
Well, here's the thing, right? L's that touch a consonant will be double L most of the time. I'll probably find an exception, but most of the time you will double an L if it touches another consonant. Does that make sense? Right?
Yes.
So that's why you said, it's a single consonant, but then it sounds like a double, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things in Italian that are not phonetic, right? Where we're taught that Italian's a phonetic language. All right, well, we have certainly covered that in detail, and now you've made it to the end of another video. And if you feel like you've benefited from our work and we've saved you a lot of money, why not head over to Patreon or Subscribestar to support our work? There you may donate as little as a couple dollars a month. Your support is very appreciated and helps us very much in the creation of new videos. Also, you may support us by subscribing, sharing, and liking the videos. Sharing especially helps YouTube recognize that this channel is relevant. Remember that nothing takes the place of a great live coaching. So why not show off your new Italian pronunciation skills to your coach or teacher? Your coach or teacher will be very happy to be able to now spend more time on music rather than pronunciation. So also I want to mention that we both will release shorter videos just on the pronunciation. This is just for like the nerdy kind of in detail questions you might have. So don't forget to ask us questions about things that still might be perplexing you about Italian. We'd be very happy. Always share, comment, and like, and we will see you in the next video. Ciao. Thanks for watching.
Ciao. Bye bye. Ciao.